If you keep forgetting to reply to people you care about, that's not laziness. It's a very specific brain pattern that shows up in smart, sensitive introverts. You read the message, you feel something, you tell yourself you'll reply when you have the energy to do it properly. And then days pass, and suddenly it feels too late and too awkward to respond at all. And you start wondering, what is actually wrong with me? Why can't I just text back the people I genuinely like? Psychology says this is not about how much you care about someone, but about how your brain processes emotional tasks and what happens when responding feels like more than just typing a few simple words on a screen. The first thing to understand is that your brain treats certain texts like emotional tasks rather than simple messages, and research shows when something requires emotional investment, your mind files it under things that need energy, not things you can do on autopilot, which is why you can scroll social media for an hour but completely freeze when it comes to replying to a friend who asked how you're doing, because that question requires you to check in with yourself, formulate an honest answer, and consider how they will receive it. And all of this happens unconsciously in milliseconds, making your brain decide now is not the right time, even though you genuinely want to connect. The second pattern psychology identifies is called emotional bandwidth, which refers to the limited capacity your mind has for processing feelings throughout the day. And if you already spend significant mental energy navigating work or school or your own internal world, then by the time you see that text from someone you like, your emotional tank is already running low, and your brain interprets responding as a withdrawal from an account that is nearly empty, not because you don't care, but because caring actually takes something from you, and your mind is trying to protect you from overdrawing on resources you simply don't have right now, which is exactly why the people you care about most often get the worst response times. Research also shows that people who avoid responding often have higher standard for their replies than those who text back immediately, which means you're not just trying to answer, you're trying to answer well enough to match how much this person actually means to you. And when you can't meet that internal standard, your brain would rather delay indefinitely than send something that feels insufficient, creating a painful cycle where the longer you wait, the more pressure builds, because now you also need to explain the delay, making it feel even more impossible until your brain convinces you the moment has passed completely. Your brain also uses avoidance as a form of self-protection, especially if you've experienced rejection or judgment in the past, and psychology calls this rejection sensitivity, which means your nervous system is wired to scan for potential threats in social situations, even positive ones. And when someone you care about reaches out, there's a part of your mind that worries about saying the wrong thing or being too much or not being enough. And instead of risking the discomfort, your brain chooses the seemingly safer option of just not engaging yet, which feels protective in the moment, but actually increases your anxiety over time. What most people don't realize is that this behavior shows up more intensely with people you genuinely care about, not less, because low-stakes conversations require almost nothing from you, but high-stakes relationships activate your attachment system, and suddenly your brain is monitoring how this interaction might affect the bond. And this is especially true if you have an anxious or avoidant attachment style, where connection itself can feel simultaneously deeply wanted and completely overwhelming. And psychology says this doesn't make you a bad friend. It means your nervous system simply needs a different approach to communication. So, if you've been judging yourself for ignoring texts from people you actually like, remember that your brain is processing emotional bandwidth, decision fatigue, perfectionism, rejection sensitivity, and attachment activation all at once, and none of that makes you careless or cruel. It makes you deeply human with a nervous system that's trying to manage a lot, and recognizing this pattern is the very first step toward building communication habits that actually work for how your mind operates. If this helped you understand yourself a little better, share it with someone who might need to hear this too, and subscribe for more psychology insights that finally explain why you do the things you do.